Hi and welcome back to Mom Talk for another video. I know it's been a while since I put out another batch cooking video. Life has been busy taking care of my little one, her health issues. But we're back to it today. I'm batch cooking and I'm excited to share this video with you. Come on in. If you're new here, subscribe, share the videos if they're a blessing to you, and leave a comment. Thanks. We're starting with this pork steak that I already went ahead and cooked and baked that I forgot to record, but I cooked a bunch of it, and there's some of them are very thick, so we have to cut them in small pieces, and some bread loaves have already been cooked, but look at that. That looks so good and juicy, soft and delicious, just the way I like it. Perfect. So those are going to be some of the protein that we eat this week. I'm excited. Sorry I missed it. Some of them are thin. You can see that. I'm going to cut those little small. We add some veggies to that. I have a lot of potatoes, so I'm going ahead and just cutting some of this to just have some baked potato wedges, which my children really like, or just potato bites, whichever you want to call it. I am using coconut oil here. Again, I just work with what I have. I always have coconut oil because I cook with it, put it on our skin. Just a little bit of salt in there, and just going to throw it in the oven. My children can snack on this. They pull out my mayo for that, or ketchup, and these are just good to just munch on. But they're going to go as a sides for some of the meals that we're cooking today. I have a lot of this, so I'll be doing this over and over repeatedly just to cook a lot of it, and then we'll just heat them up in the microwave when we're ready to eat. As you can see, some of them are coming out. I like them nice and brown. If they're not even brown when they're really soft, sometimes I broil it to just give it that crunchy brown color that I like. When you take that bite, it just becomes like that crunchiness you feel. That's what I like. Next, I have a beautiful salmon that I've been blessed with, so that I'm going to bake. We love salmon, and I'm blessed when we get to have it. I cook it very simple. I have a simple salmon recipe that we all like, so I don't mess with it. I don't change it. But this, I am so blessed that God continues to provide so well for my children, and I will be happy if He just gave us beans, rice, and beans. And I'm so grateful that we get to eat variety like this beautiful salmon. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just wash it off, rinse it off, and that's simple. Throw it on my parchment paper. I like to do some fresh lemon on it when I have it. If I don't, just even the lemon juice is good. Literally just bake it. And then what my children love is I make my own homemade tartar sauce to go with it. Simple mayo, and I just add in some relish and a little bit of salt, and they love putting that on and just eating that. That's our favorite way to eat salmon. So I am cooking a lot of salmon, but don't be fooled. This does not last long in my family because we all like salmon. This will be like 2 nights of a meal for our family. Let me know, what are your favorite ways to cook salmon for your family? Because over the years, I haven't wanted to try a new salmon recipe because my children always ask for this one. But let me know what yours are. Next, I have sourdough that just got mixed, so I'm gonna let this sit, and we'll move on to making dough for my children's bread for the week. So I am out of bread, so we're going ahead, because I have a lot of flour. We're going ahead and making our own homemade bread, a few loaves for the week, for a few days. They don't last a week, but going ahead measuring that out. We've been making our own family bread, oh my goodness, for years. I would have to say at least 10 years. I started off using a bread maker machine. That was the easiest way to start, and when I did, it was so easy. Once we learned that, I put my 7-year-old in charge of just, because literally you pour the ingredients in there and press the button, so he would do that and set it to bake bread in the morning before we woke up. But over time, we quickly outgrew the bread machine because we only made 1 loaf at a time, and my family was getting bigger, so we eventually started making bread this way in my big IKEA bowl. And that's how we've been making bread for that long, whether it's homemade bread or buns. But we love this recipe and stayed with it for years. Next, we're making some homemade buns to go with one night. We're gonna barbecue. My son's gonna barbecue, pull out the grill, so that way we'll have some buns ready to go. So just go ahead and cutting them off even here, and then measuring it out and making these buns. My daughter is doing this part. She likes to measure. I tend not to be like that, but she wants to open her own bakery and bakes from home. She likes everything precise. It helps obviously with making pricing for our customers, hence why she's doing this. I just cut it, eyeing it, and that's how I roll. But I appreciate how creativity is. And now look how well this loaf turned out. delicious. Now you smack a little bit of butter on that and Now we're off to more potatoes, because we have a lot of potatoes. We don't want to go bad. So I'm just gonna go batch cook a lot so we can have sides of potatoes for a lot of the meals this week. We're moving on to sweet potatoes. I like to have sweet potatoes for me. I tend not to eat the regular potatoes. I find the sweet potatoes are good, best for me. So going ahead and cooking sweet potatoes won't be as much as the potatoes. Again, these will be my sides that I have. Of course, my children will have some of the sweet potatoes because they like them too. Going ahead to just a little bit of coconut oil and just throwing them in the oven. Cooking them at 375 with my potatoes so they can go in at the same time. I think I cooked them for about 35 minutes or so, if I remember correctly. But anyways, those turned out delicious. Next, we are moving to making soup. Now, I did throw a whole chicken. I didn't show you. I forgot to record into the crock pot. This is one of my lifesavers in the kitchen. I always have some kind of whole chicken in my freezer that I can throw in the crock pot any night before I go to bed to cook. So that's what happened with this one. I threw in the crock pot. Now I have an entire whole chicken there. I did take out the broth and I have heated the broth on the stove. Now cut a bunch of vegetables that I had in the fridge that I don't want to go. I had zucchinis, I had some onions, and of course I have a lot of potatoes. So we're gonna make a big pot of chicken soup, adding in all these vegetables, and this chicken soup is gonna go delicious with that homemade bread for some of the dinners. Yum, 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 yum. So, and this is a win-win. I always like to have some huge meal ready, big pot ready in the fridge, just so that I'm not thinking so much about either dinners. These are all mainly dinners because lunches is easy to pick up, but sometimes I also use these meals for lunches. So, because we're homeschool, we're always home. So I like to go for soups because it helps me clean out my fridge. Whatever vegetables I have, I can throw in the soups, especially now that I'm using already chicken broth. Is gonna give it that flavor that I want. It doesn't really matter which vegetable I'm putting in. I'm gonna add my seasoning, and this turns out well. My children get to eat vegetables this way, which they usually wouldn't. But if I'm offering it, my children are like, you can't have that homemade bread you want before you finish your soup. So this is how soup works in my family. I'm excited I got this done. We are done. I'm excited. Look at this bread and this soup. It's gonna be dinner for tonight. Yay! Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope it gave you ideas that you could take and implement in your home. I appreciate your continuous support. If you're new here, subscribe. If you haven't, like the video if you liked it and share. Until next time, bye bye.